Okay, let's jump right in. We've got this source material you sent over, focusing on something pretty vital as we age, balance. Specifically, this document, Better Balance Through Simple Movement.
Yeah, it's a great piece. What I like is how it, cuts through a lot of the complexity you sometimes hear about.
Right.
It argues pretty strongly that you don't need really complicated routines or anything fancy to improve your balance.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is basically to unpack this source, find the really core ideas, what actually moves the needle when it comes to balance as we get older.
And the big takeaway right up front seems to be that it starts simple,
Yeah.
very simple, accessible ideas. The source really focuses on three main things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Widening your stance, learning how to shift your weight deliberately, and then just practicing movements slowly and consistently. And it notes these are, scientifically supported, used globally.
So the goal here is to figure out how these, well, seemingly basic things actually work. How do they help prevent falls, build strength, maybe even more importantly, give you back that confidence in just moving around? Let's get into it.
Sounds good. And it makes sense that the source starts with the foundation, right? Your base.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about the power of just having a wider base of support. The phrase was, balance starts from the ground up.
It almost sounds too simple, doesn't it? Just stand with your feet wider apart.
Well, yeah, but the source explains why. It fundamentally changes your relationship with gravity.
Okay.
Think about like a pyramid or any stable structure, really. A wider base means your center of gravity, your core, has more room to move side to side before it actually goes outside that base.
So it buys you time, those crucial milliseconds to react if you wobble.
Precisely. It gives your body a bigger margin for error, basically.
And it's not just for standing still, is it? The source mentions this applies when you're moving too.
Definitely. Spreading your feet just a little wider makes everyday things like turning around, reaching for something, stepping sideways, even just, getting up from a chair feel instantly more solid, more secure.
So it's an immediate sort of geometric boost to stability.
Exactly. It's foundational. Pretty much all good balance training builds on this idea in some way.
Okay, so that covers the static part, staying stable when still. But like the source points out, most falls happen when we're moving, which leads to that second core idea, weight shifting, the skill you didn't know you needed. Why is that so important, actively practicing shifting your weight?
Well, it's because dynamic balancing while moving is it's a different beast than just standing still.
Right.
It's all about controlling your body while it's in motion or, say, changing positions. If you can't shift your weight comfortably, smoothly, that's when you're vulnerable, right? When you need to step or turn quickly or react.
So you're training your body to handle that little moment of controlled instability. The source talks about doing it deliberately, slowly, shifting weight foot to foot. How does that help in the real world?
It's essentially retraining your nervous system. When you practice shifting weight slowly, mindfully, you're teaching your brain and muscles how to coordinate that specific movement smoothly, safely.
I see.
And that practice directly carries over. It improves how you handle, unexpected things, walking on bumpy ground, maybe dodging someone in a crowd, or even just catching yourself if you stumble a bit. It builds that almost automatic reaction time and control.
It sounds like building muscle memory, but for staying upright even when you're off center for a moment.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. You're building the dynamic equilibrium you need to move confidently through a world that isn't always flat and predictable.
Okay, which brings us right to the third principle the source really hammers home, repetition. Repetition builds trust in your body. What's actually happening when we repeat these simple movements again and again?
Well, the power there is really in neuroplasticity and motor learning. Your brain's ability to adapt.
Okay.
When you repeat correct, safe movements, especially the slow, controlled kind the source recommends, you're literally strengthening the neural pathways, the connections in your brain and nervous system that manage balance and coordination. You're making them more efficient.
So it's less about bulking up muscles and more about improving the communication network. Brain, nerves, muscles, all talking to each other better.
Precisely. It sharpens your body's proprioception, that's its sense of where it is in space, and its ability to make those tiny, super fast adjustments without conscious thought. And there's a huge psychological piece too, Every time you successfully repeat a movement, it builds confidence. It chips away at that fear of falling, which itself can really hold people back from moving freely.
That makes sense, but it does sound like it could take a lot of time. Repetition usually implies long practice sessions, right? But the source challenges that with this section. What about 30-second exercises? Can they really help?
And the answer it gives, based on everything we've just talked about, is a pretty strong yes.
Absolutely. Look, longer sessions are obviously good, but consistent, short bursts, incredibly effective.
Why is that? Why just 30 seconds?
Because even 30 seconds, if you do it mindfully and correctly, is enough time to engage those balance mechanisms. It's enough to activate the neural pathways we mentioned, to reinforce the pattern you want to build.
So it's consistency over sheer duration. Doing a little bit often is better than doing a lot infrequently.
Exactly. You're regularly pinging your nervous system, reminding it how to maintain balance. Think of it like microdosing your balance training throughout the day.
I like that. Microdosing balance.
Yeah. Those small, repeated signals build resilience and make stability more automatic, much more effectively, actually, than one long session once a week.
And the source ties these ideas, wide base, slow control, repetition, to established methods people might already know. Right? It gives examples, practices like Tai Chi and Qigong, which are famous for their, flowing movements, and deep focus on weight shifting and staying centered.
And yoga, too, especially gentler forms. They build strength, flexibility, body awareness, all things that help with your base and control.
Mm-hmm. And things like functional balance training,
Yeah.
which you see in rehab settings. It breaks down real-world movements and helps you practice reactions.
It also lists the Feldenkrais method and Alexander technique. Those focus a lot on body awareness and moving more efficiently with less strain.
Yeah, subtle but powerful. And even dance-based programs. They naturally get you working on rhythm, coordination, shifting weight. Plus, they're fun. The common thread, though, is that they all tap into these core accessible principles.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up based on the source. The key takeaways seem to be, first, the instant stability you get just from widening your base.
Absolutely fundamental.
Second, the critical skill of practicing controlled weight shifts for moving safely and dynamically.
Yeah, you need that dynamic control.
And third, the power of consistent repetition, even super short bursts, like 30 seconds, to actually retrain your body and, crucially, build confidence.
And the overall message feels really empowering, doesn't it?
Hmm.
It suggests that improving your balance is genuinely within reach for most people, regardless of where you're starting from.
Yeah, it's not about becoming some elite athlete. It's about small, mindful steps, done regularly.
Right. Not necessarily strenuous effort.
And it really connects physical balance to something bigger, doesn't it? The source hints that it's not just about, not falling over.
No, definitely not.
Ah.
When you zoom out, the picture the source paints is that physical balance is deeply linked to your self-confidence, your feeling of freedom to move independently.
And ultimately your ability to just, engage with life, to do the things you love.
It's about feeling secure enough to get out there, explore, stay connected. And the source leaves us with this really interesting final thought. This idea that actively working on your physical balance, using these simple, consistent movements,
could actually have this unexpected positive ripple effect, influencing your confidence and sense of freedom in other parts of your life too, areas that seem totally unrelated.
Yeah. Fascinating connection to consider.
Definitely food for thought. Well, thanks for joining us to dig into better balance through simple movement.